is Shelley, as you know, and I was in the pornography industry and sex industry for 8 years total. The 6 years was spent in prostitution and stripping, and 2 years were spent in the porn industry, and I suffered greatly. A lot of people think it's glamorous, but I'm going to talk to you tonight about that. It's not glamorous at all. In fact, right now, God has called me to ministry to the women in the porn industry and sex industry. And what is very crazy is they have the same background I do. There's a few differences, but most of us grew up without having a close relationship with a father. Our parents neglected us. A lot of us were raised watching TV. A lot of us were sexually abused. Some women had it much worse than me and had alcoholic parents. Uncles had molested them. You should hear some of the stories I hear. I haven't met a girl yet in the porn industry or sex industry that hasn't had some kind of neglect or abuse in her background, a substantial amount. In fact, I'm starting to get a little edgy, and I start to tell people in the adult film industry, go ahead, just show me one. Just show me one girl who came up with a healthy, happy childhood and has her parents raised her to be a champion in life. Show me. Where is she at? Because she doesn't exist. I'm that confident that everything I speak tonight is 100% the truth. Been there, done that. And anybody who tries to tell you they love it, watch this. I love it. I love having sex. I love being a porn star. Yeah, I'm a pretty good actress, and so are they. They're lying to you. Because you know what? They can't face the reality. They're stuck and trapped in an industry, and it's very hard to get out. But not impossible. I'm going to share a little bit of my background with you, and then we're going to talk about what the industry's like and the truth about pornography, and then we're going to talk to you about my favorite subject, which is the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ, and the reason I'm standing here, even breathing, able to talk to you. When I was a little girl, I was raised in a pretty middle-class home. I had parents that weren't bad people, but they did neglect. My dad was very busy working, and my mother was not a real experienced mom, and she really wasn't a very affectionate mom, and neither of my parents really practiced Christianity. They thought that they were these good Christians, but we stopped attending church when I was about 9 years old, and everything started changing in our house. So really, we didn't grow up with relationships with each other. It was just existing. Basically, I was raised on television. My mom even said, "This is the best babysitter." And so Jack Tripper and Lucy Ricardo became my new parents. Ooh, I learned about, sex at a very young age from TV, obviously, and then at the same time, around the same time, at 9 years old, I was sexually abused by a teenage boy and his sister. So I had a lesbian experience and a sexual experience at 9 years old. Now, where's a 9-year-old going to go and tell anybody what happened? 70% of women in America are sexually abused as children. That's a huge number. That would explain the pornography industry now, wouldn't it? In fact, there's women in this room, and even men, who've been sexually abused as children and haven't healed from it. It's very traumatizing. You walk around feeling filthy and shameful and guilty that you did something very dirty and very wrong, and then you start acting out because to you that means love. I started acting out with different boys and even girls, but especially boys. I didn't have a dad in my life who ever hugged me or said, "Honey, I love you, you're a champion, you're precious to me." I never heard those words. And so I grew up acting out with boys, feeling dirty. I began masturbating at age 9. Don't ask me how I figured that out, but I did. We can figure how stuff works, can't we, as kids? But I began doing that on a daily basis, introducing other little kids on how to do it. I was definitely acting out, which I found out after recovery that was actually very normal for a child who was sexually violated. At the same time, I don't know if you guys, I'm a little bit older, I'm going to be 40 this year, but we were on TV, had just come out, which is kind of like kind of like HBO nowadays that we have. So we got violated by pornography would come on late at night, or You know, we were kind of just exposed to things we shouldn't have been exposed to. And can you imagine how much worse it is now? In fact, the largest group for viewing online pornography is ages 12 to 17. So, basically, we have a whole generation of children becoming porn addicts who will one day become our politicians and leaders. Well, you can already look in politics and see what's happening to the government, right? They're getting busted in the bathroom and being gay with someone, or something's happening, or, you know, prostitution rings. It's already happening. In fact, the porn industry has 20 times itself in just 10 years. 20 times. That's a lot. So, you know, I'm getting exposed to things as a little girl. I'm acting out. My parents are neglecting me. I don't have relationships with either of them. High school, I was very rebellious. Madonna had just come out, and I thought, that is my new mother. I will wear fishnet nylons to school with black nails and my big fluffy skirt and go, like for sure, like a virgin. You know, that's what I was in high school. I was a nightmare as a teenager. So I began having sex, smoking pot, drinking alcohol, just partying. And my dad basically said, listen, if you don't get your act together, I'm going to kick you out. And I was about 18 years old, almost 18. In senior year, I was getting all C's and D's and actually closer to F's, and I was cheating. I cheated my way through high school. I officially do not deserve my high school diploma, but that's how smart I was. I could cheat my way through. I was like, smoking in class, ditching school, having sex. We were just these wild party animals in high school, and no one did anything about it. I just got away with it. I got 3 girls, and one of them is here tonight, and I guarantee you, well, she wouldn't even do that, honey. But she wouldn't get away with it if she did. You know, I pay attention to my kids. I love them. But a lot of parents, they just ignore their kids. Look at them walking around today. You know, you can look at today's kids. I just went to Disneyland since I've been down here. I saw a girl wearing a bustier. I had to hold my tongue so bad. If I hadn't been my little girls, I would have put my arm around her and said, honey, why do you dress like that? Why are you wearing your underwear to Disneyland? I wouldn't have said that. I would have shown her love. But I wanted to say something. I'm like, dang. You know, even I didn't dress like that, and I was wild, you know? So you're beating me, which is really scary, you know, that's happening to our generation. So it happened to my generation, too, but it's much worse now. Well, anyways, my dad decided he was going to kick me out. He wasn't kidding around. And I ended up in the San Fernando Valley, which is the porn capital of the world. 80% of the mainstream pornography industry companies are in the San Fernando Valley. I didn't know that. I just ended up there, and next thing you know, I'm sitting on the curb with no food. I mean, I'm just in shock. I just got kicked out of the house. I'd never even been kicked out of the house. I had no money. I had nothing. I didn't even have a driver's license because it was suspended from having about, I don't know, 5 or so or a handful of tickets, which I always crumbled up and threw away. That's how rebellious I was. My mother would try and, she never spanked me. See, I never had any discipline as a child. So by the time I'm a teenager, I'm the teenager from hell. And I'm watching TV, and she'd be like, go clean your room! Go clean your room! And I was just like, so she'd try to hit me with a spoon. I'd grab the spoon, break it, hand it back to her, and keep watching TV. And then I'd flip her off. That's the kind of teenager I was. But you know what? That's why I have so much compassion for teenagers nowadays. When they act like that, I'm not mad at them. Where are their parents? Where are the fathers of this world? I want to know where the fathers are at. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. Well, the pimp became my new father. For the first time ever, an older man put his arm around me and says, honey, it's going to be okay. I'll help you. I'm like, oh, Jesus has come to save me. See, I knew Jesus when I was little, and I prayed to God, oh my gosh, what has happened? I'm out on the street. I have no place to live, no food, no money. I don't even have a driver's license. I don't have a car. I don't have anything. I have no resources. And this nice man came along and said, honey, I'll help you. And I just cried in his shoulder, and I just wept. You know, I just was like, oh, it feels so good. And his arm was around me. And it was like, oh, the dad I always wanted. I just wanted a hug growing up. I just wanted to feel special. And the pimp made me feel very special.